ahead and start off by why don't you introduce yourself, what grade you're in, where you're from, and what school you're currently going to.
Okay. My name is Abby McIntyre. I am from Glenwood, Iowa, and I'm a freshman and I go to Grandview University.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Actually, let's start with right off the bat with you being from Iowa and being from Glenwood, which I actually wrestled at a couple times growing up, which is pretty cool. We would, I'm from Nebraska originally, and so we would wrestle that way a handful of times. But
Nebraska.
Norfolk.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about what happened this past weekend. Sanctioning girls wrestling in Iowa. Like how excited were you when you heard that news?
I was pretty excited, but pretty nervous at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I bet. Um, did you, I'm guessing you had, I mean, with being a freshman, you probably had some friends that were wrestling there. Were you able to follow at all or not really?
Yeah, I watched a few of my friends on track. On float.
That's pretty cool. That's got to be kind of a different feeling now being on the other side of it for you. What was that like?
Um, it was pretty sad, not gonna lie. I was very sad because last year was my senior year and NAIA Wrestle actually posted the video of me climbing the wall and hugging my mom. And so I was like, oh man, I wish I was still in high school, but
Yeah. So coming off of let's go to national duels. That would have been a pretty exciting especially as a freshman coming in. I know the girls didn't get to experience that last year, but getting to jump in, be a part of that. And you guys had a pretty awesome weekend. What was that like for you?
um it was pretty good. I was a little nervous because I was a freshman. I am a freshman and I haven't really participated in really big tournaments before until this year. So that was very nerve-wracking, but I would say I'm very pleased with how I did.
Yeah. And not only did you guys do well as a team, you had some real big wins down there as well, right?
Yep.
Um, let's go to man, I'm not gonna think of her name right. Texas Wesleyan, is that right?
Yeah.
What was her name again?
Britt, I don't remember her last name.
Okay. Yeah, Britt. Let's go over that match. I mean, going into that, did you is that something that maybe, I don't know, did you have some girls like as you're entering into just the duels itself, were you kind of looking how this could play out? Maybe some of the girls that you might meet head to head, or was it I'm just going to take it one match at a time, or what was that like for you? Especially as you said, this being kind of your first like big tournament you ever really got to be a part of.
So I prefer to take it one match at a time, and I don't really look at my opponents, no matter their rankings or how they did or anything like that, because I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna wrestle my match, no matter who I'm wrestling. And I also don't look up girls beforehand, or else I'll psych myself out. And so with that, I also before every match, I always tell myself, I'm like, I'm the best, because it's just there to like help hype me up for one, and two to like give me more confidence also. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great perspective and something definitely any other girls that are watching, especially in the high school, as many of them are about to enter into their postseasons for high school if they haven't already. So many do. They really, especially there are a lot of new ones where they do psych themselves out, or they look past other people and they don't wrestle their match or their style. But yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's some great wins. But I also know that you have lofty goals, which is I'm so excited already for just to see this season play out. Man, and NAIA just continues to get deeper and deeper. When you have girls that have a lot of talent coming in like you do and continue to come in. Let's talk about even Grandview. Like, what was it about Grandview that made you decide like this is where I'm gonna head?
So what really helped me decide on Grandview is one, it's really close to home and I'm a big homebody.
Yeah,
But two, it just felt like home also. So although I was leaving home, it kind of felt like I was going into another home. Like I didn't feel like I was an outsider. It just kind of felt like I fit right in. The girls are great about that. And they just really helped make all the freshmen feel welcomed.
that's awesome. How far away is that from home for you?
It's only 2.5.
I was gonna say it can't be that far. That's pretty cool. That's gotta be awesome to know that, even if even only being 2.5 hours, having that opportunity on a weekend that's free, you can jump right in. And well, and even it's a lot easier to have family come watch you wrestle too at home and stuff like that. That's gotta be pretty special. Let's talk about their staff. What is it about those guys that you really enjoy?
I love working with Krenzi, Vyas, and Coach Reagan because um, they always, no matter like win or lose, they always have something to say about your match. Like, hey, like you did good, but you can work on this better or try to work on this. And like in high school, I never really had that because my coaches, they were involved, but like if you won, it was like a hey, good job, you won, go get it next time, you know? So I love that they give me feedback, win or loss. And
And
I love that they practice with us in the room.
I was gonna say, do you does Allie still get on the mat with the girls and stuff like that? And well, and I know Eros does too, but that's gotta be awesome too to even have someone that's capable of help give you better looks or give you what you need at the moment. That's always I and you're starting to see it more and more with girls wrestling and coaching in general that you do have those high caliber wrestlers themselves that are able to jump in and have been where you're at in a lot of different ways. So that's pretty cool. And they're both awesome characters. We had them up at they actually came up for a camp this year, this summer for us, which was a lot of fun. And my daughter's she's been an Alley fan for a long time, so it was really fun for her to see him kind of chase them around. But no, that's great. I'm glad that you get to experience that. What what does what does a normal week look like for you right now? Like classes and workouts and things like that.
So I tend to work out in the morning before my classes, and then I have classes from like 8 to noon, and then I'll do my homework, try to get in maybe a second workout after there. Sometimes I don't, but then we have practice, and then maybe I'll get in a lift or like something just to keep moving after that, and then homework once again
So
after that.
it's a go go go, huh? For you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was what was maybe one of the biggest adjustments for you personally? Even though you're close to home, but going from high school to going into college like that for you.
Um, I would say the big difference is going from folk style to freestyle. That was a big thing for me.
I'm sure. Had you done much freestyle? I know you wrestled at Fargo, right?
Yeah.
So you've done a little bit of it, but probably not consistent.
No, Fargo was my technically my second freestyle
Oh,
tournament.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
the freestyle state was like my first tournament, although I didn't do like a single freestyle move. Like I had no idea what I was doing.
Even at Fargo, was it like that? I mean, you pretty much were doing folk style, but that's awesome, and you did pretty well. So
Yeah.
that's great. What has helped you the most being able to transition into freestyle?
Um, I would say the coaches and practices because um even sometimes during my matches I'll catch myself like trying to base up and I'm like, "Oh no, what are you doing? Like you can't be doing that." And so like sometimes my coaches will have to be like, belly down, like, what are you doing? Come on. And so like during practices that helps a lot because sometimes I'll go with Crenzy or Allie and they'll be like, what? Like be flat, you know? So that helps a lot.
What is it like, speaking of practices, of even getting to have the opportunity to have like someone like Hunter that obviously is right there in the mix for when you look at rankings and that, and you obviously are right there too. What is that like to have someone like in your room daily that you know can push you and that is right there as well?
I love it. Hunter and I practice pretty frequently together. She always is pushing me and I love going with her because it's like no matter what, I always learn something new. I learn how to make my shot better, my defense better. There's always something small that she helps me tweak it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. It's great to have teammates like that. And there is a part that, I mean, you guys, the reality is your teammates, but you're also chasing the same dream, right? That you both are right in the mix for. So how do you navigate that? What is that like? I mean, I never thought about asking that question, but what is that like? Having someone push you, but at the same time, like they're chasing the same thing that you are literally.
So during practices and things, like we're friends off the mat and we're friends on the mat, but we're also competitors when we're on the mat. And so it's really a fine line that you have to learn because if you don't learn it, then sometimes um, people can be a little more aggressive off the mat or just not understand that balance in between.
Yeah. That's and it sounds like that's something you're continuing to learn even as the season progresses and stuff like that. And that's cool though too that, and there's also a part of being a teammate that is always like, I'm going to help this person get better as well as they're doing that for me. But and you see that that's one of the things I've always appreciated about like Penn State. You'll see a lot of those guys when they're going international, like they're drilling together before some of those meets. But the reality, I mean, when you toe the line, it's time to toe the line, right? I mean, like you, especially for someone like you that you said you like to wrestle your style no matter what. And so you're not really looking ahead. So there, I would imagine that helps a little bit for you as well. So that
Yeah.
that's cool. Let's talk about just you in general. What are do you have any like superstitions before matches? Do you have any things that you do regularly, you know, lucky pair of socks or whatever it may be?
So I actually just pray before every single match.
That's cool. That's awesome. I love that. I lead our FCA here in Norfolk, so I love that kind of stuff. It helps you kind of just put things back into perspective, and at the same time, it's like it's time to go give everything I have. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have go-to snacks? Do your meals look the same on meet day, or is it pretty random?
So I always have apple juice. I don't know why, but ever since I was 6, I've always had apple juice after weigh-ins. So it's just something I've carried on with me into college. So yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of which, how when did you start wrestling?
When I was 6 years old.
6 years old. And did you just come up through a club in Glenwood? Were you mostly wrestling boys most of the time, or what did that look like for you?
I was on like I wrestled for Glenwood's club and I wrestled boys all throughout elementary, middle school, high school. So
So were you ever what did high school look like for you?
I was on the boys varsity team, I think sophomore and junior year, if I remember correctly.
That's
So
cool. That's awesome. And then was your senior year, was that the first year you were able then to wrestle at? like the state, or how did that look like?
So my senior year, I wrestled more girls tournaments. That way I could somewhat get used to wrestling girls, since I had only ever wrestled maybe a handful. I could probably count them all in one hand from all the girls tournaments I've ever wrestled, so, like before college. So I wanted to get used to more of the wrestling with girls because girls have bigger hips than guys and they're just built totally different.
What about family life? What does that look like for you? Siblings? Are you only child?
So I'm actually adopted.
Okay, that's cool.
I am adopted into a family of 6 kids. I'm the sixth kid, I'm the youngest. I have 3 older brothers and 2 older sisters.
Um, Wrestling family, had they been involved before, or like how did you even get involved?
Um, so I actually got involved because I thought I saw my brother throw a kid in a headlock and make him cry, and I was actually watching my brothers wrestle at practice, and I looked at my dad. I was like, "Yo, I want to do that." I was like, "Get me out there." Because I'd always gone to their practices and like gone and played with the other sisters in the back of the wrestling room or something like that. But when I saw that, I was like, Dad, I want to do that. And so just ever since then, I've been out there wrestling on the mat.
That's awesome. I love that. What do you envision being next? I know that you're just a freshman, but what do you envision like being next for you after college is over? It sounded like you're a homebody. Do you see yourself staying close, maybe wanting to coach, just going to find a job, or what do you think that looks like for you?
So I actually want to make a world team and fingers crossed, hopefully go to the Olympics one day because it's just been a dream of mine since I was really little. So
Um, and now is that something like this year you're hoping getting to go to world trials and stuff like that?
I haven't really talked about it with my coaches and all, but I think that is going to be a goal of ours. So
That's cool. Yeah, man, I just think of girls like you and others coming in. The pool is just getting deeper and deeper, and that's so good for the sport, and not only just internationally, but especially having it be freestyle in college. Like, boy, it's just going to continue to strengthen girls like you, where you'll continue. The ceiling is so high for someone like you that, like, even you shared, like, freestyle is still something that you're very much learning and consuming. And I really appreciate you coming on. It's fun to hear a little of your journey and your story. Getting to see or hear about, that 6-year-old girl that has made it all the way through, pushed through, wrestled with the boys, and I gotta imagine at times it was probably pretty tough.
yeah.
So thank you for persevering. Thank you for the part that you had, and even um in Iowa wrestling in general. That's so cool. Even just for the eyes that are on you, that that you help push through. There's so many girls that push through, that now we have opportunities like this for girls around the country. So thank you for that. I look forward to you continue to grow in the sport. It's going to be exciting. You're such a fun personality. You're such a fun style to watch. And you can tell match by match, like there's a lot of growth in between. And that's it's so exciting. So I look forward to the rest of the year. Good luck, and thank you so much for jumping on with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.